If you would have told me 7 years ago that it was possible to live a life free from depression, anxiety, stress, and fear, and be in complete peace and be full of joy, I would have thought you were nuts. I'd never experienced that before, and I didn't know what that was like. I would have walked out on that conversation. My name is Jordan. I was born and raised in Kodiak, Alaska, which is a small island just south of the mainland. And it was a great childhood. I had loving parents, brought up in a Christian home with 2 brothers, and we had a lot of fun. We lived out in the woods. The lake was right next to us, the mountains were our backyard, and the ocean was our front yard. So life was good at the beginning. From 3rd grade until 8th grade, I went to a private Christian school. And then right after that led into public high school. And this is where everything started to fall apart. Once we hit public school, we were considered the new kids. And so everybody wanted to hang out with us. We got invited to parties. We got invited to drink and be a part of doing drugs. So the temptation was insane. The peer pressure was there. And we didn't know how to take it. At least I didn't. So because of that, I shut down. I put myself in a box. Girls would come up to me, and a lot of them thought I was pretty cute. And when they tried to talk to me, I would put up this wall, and I'd get really awkward, and I wouldn't talk. And because of that, all my friends began to make fun of me, and they would call me no homo. They'd say, "Man, you're so gay, man. Why don't you hook up with these women?" And they're throwing themselves at you, and you have the opportunity, man. Let's go to a party tonight. Let's get loose, man. Come on. Let's go have a drink, and it'll be great. It'll be the best experience of your life. And I wanted to prove all them wrong, that I wasn't homosexual, I wasn't gay, I was attracted to women, and I was gonna go all out. So my junior year, I broke out. I went to parties. The word got out. Temptation got stronger. The lust became more overwhelming, and I started to womanize. I was a horrible womanizer. I objectified women. I got what I want, but yet walked away fully empty, fully depressed, even more. And I thought, is this what they said would cure my emptiness in my heart? Is this the best thing ever? Because it wasn't. And I didn't know what to do about it. So by my senior year, I lost all attraction for women. Because what I had done is I had filled the void in my heart with my sexuality. And I thought if I could just figure that out, I would be happy. But I wasn't. I went to Colorado for a year. I moved back. And at this point, I had fully believed that I was born homosexual. I was in the closet. I didn't tell anybody about it, but it was the only thing that made sense according to my emotions and the feelings and the way the world said I was. The world's voice spoke a lot louder than God's voice at that time, for sure. So when I came back to Kodiak, I eventually had a moment where I broke down and I cried out. I didn't know what else to do. I was depressed. I was lost. I was still womanizing. I was still sucked into the addictions and the pornography and partying and drinking. And finally, I had that rock bottom moment up on top of this mountain called Pillar Mountain. I had an encounter with God. For the first time in my life, I experienced something that I'd never felt before. I felt loved. I felt as though someone was actually listening to me and knew what I was going through. And so coming off that mountain experience, there's 2 things that I learned. Number 1, that God loved me, that He was real. And number 2, that I was created to be a father to nations, not just my own children, but to other kids. And I was going to have an amazing family, a beautiful wife, even though I didn't feel like it, wasn't attracted to women yet. So I went down, I got so excited, I told everybody about it, and started out my journey as a Christian. For 3 months, I put myself under the law, and I didn't know it. I woke up trying to be a good Christian. I woke up trying to be attracted to women, trying not to be addicted to pornography. And what I began to realize was it's really hard to be something that you couldn't attain. So finally, I broke down one morning. God spoke to me. He says, "Jordan, who are you biologically?" I says, "Well, I'm Dan and Beth Davis's son, biologically." He says, "You have to try to become their son, or are you their son?" I said, I'm their son. He said, yeah. So why are you trying so hard to become my son? And it hit like a bomb. And I realized, wow, for 3 months I had woke up and I tried to be a good Christian. I had tried to be attracted to women. I had tried to drop this addiction to pornography and lust in my mind and just sinful thoughts going on. And I thought, is it this easy? I said, do I just wake up and believe your word? Is that it? Do I look in the mirror and tell myself, Jordan, despite how you feel, this is the way that God says it is in your life and eventually it's going to happen? I never tried it, so I gave it a shot. I would wake up in the morning and I'd look at myself in the mirror and I begin to speak the word of God over my life. And I say, Jordan, you are created in the image of God. You are made for a purpose. You have destiny. You're created to be a father, to be attracted to women. And gosh darn it, if you don't feel attracted to that right now in this moment, it's going to happen. And that's what I did. I kept on speaking the word of God over my life, despite how I felt. If I had temptation, I'd get out of the room. I'd go on a walk. If I felt as though my mind was going back into an old pattern, man, I'd immediately get myself in the word. Not out of works, but out of wanting to know who I am and speak the word of God over myself. Because for so many years, I'd been brainwashed into what others thought of me. And this time I wanted to know what God thought of me. So for 1 month, I did that. I remember the moment when it hit. After that month, I was in a worship service and I was playing guitar. And as I looked out in the crowd, I heard this voice. And it was the Lord, and he says, how long has it been? And I said, well, been since what? I said, how long has it been since you've been addicted to pornography? Or since you thought any lustful thoughts or sinful ideas went on in your heart? I said, man, it's been over a month. And he says, wasn't that easy? I said, yeah, that was easy. That was really easy. And he says, another thing, check out the crowd. And as I looked out in the crowd, I saw this one girl. And as she turned her head, the hair whipped around her shoulder in slow motion. And I know this is church, but when God does a miracle in your life, you got to get excited. And as I saw that girl and that hair whipped around, all of a sudden, it was a physical manifestation. My mind literally flipped 180. And this is what it was, Romans 12:2. Be transformed by the renewing of my mind. When I looked at that girl, it was instant attraction for the first time in years. Man, I got excited. I jumped up out of my seat and I said, yeah, baby. And the drummer stopped. He's like, bro, you okay? Are you good? I said, yeah, I'm fine. And I was so excited. No one knew what had just happened in my mind and in my heart. But I knew God had transformed me by the renewing of my mind. I put on the mind of Christ for that month and actually believed what the Word of God said. From that moment on, I kept on going out, preaching the Word of God. If I made a mistake, I got up. If I fell down 7 times, I got up 14 times. No matter what it was that came my way, I kept on pursuing Him. Went out and preached the gospel, loved the sick, went out to the homeless. What I began to realize was, as a Christian, it wasn't about going out and putting on a face, and biting the lip, and trying to be that good person every single day. But it was believing what God said over you, despite your emotions and your feelings, and actually living out the gospel as a lifestyle, not as a duty or a have to, not as a pressure, but as a pleasure. So if you had told me 7 years ago, today, what it could be, I would have said, yeah, right. But 7 years later, now today, I can tell you, yeah, it's possible. God's too good. He loves us too much. He won't give up on us. And I'm living proof of that.